Bednar, Republican strategist, former head of communications for House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and Democratic strategist John McCarthy. No relation to Kevin McCarthy. He was a senior advisor in the Biden White House.
Not that I can find yet, anyway.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
but you never know. With us Irish guys, We're all related in one way or another. We were talking during the break. Ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by a real-life American who's been caught up in the security line snafus across the country. Your ordeal from New Orleans sounded pretty terrible.
Yeah, I got there yesterday at the airport.
Yesterday?
Yes, I just got back to D.C. They encouraged getting there 4 hours in advance. It took me about 6 hours to get through security overall. Missed my flight, missed all the remaining flights to D.C., found my way up to New York and took a train back to D.C. this morning.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The thing I will say, though, that I don't think is being talked about enough is, by and large, people were actually pretty, kind and civilized throughout the whole thing. I think in a lot of these situations, things can get kind of ugly, and that's not what I experienced yesterday. So, I think that any kind of narrative around this, that there's, disruption in these airports, people are actually kind of kindly looking out for each other. So I got a nice bit of humanity out of that.
That's good. That's good. Perhaps they appreciate the fact that there are a bunch of people screening them who haven't been paid and are not going to get paid.
And people were giving thank you notes to the people.
Were they?
Yeah, I was actually really pleasantly surprised by that.
So how does this end, Mark? I mean, it's your party who's in power right now, but, they're the ones forcing this debate. Where does this go? Because if Friday comes and these people aren't being paid again.
Right, and we've already seen 400 TSA agents quit.
At least.
Just walk off the job entirely. It's super, we're in a bizarre territory because typically when there's TSA issues, TSA conundrums, that is the forcing mechanism that kind of foists itself upon negotiations to take place. And that's with the rest of the government kind of being already funded. So here with TSA literally being the situation at hand, it's entirely possible. The pressure points are being faced on both parties right now. But the fact that, we're seeing that John has to deal with this, that millions of Americans have to deal with this right now, this is a big concern. And, I think that this could continue to go on because right now, despite the pressure, despite the pain, I don't really see any off-ramps for either side at this moment.
So it's just the staring contest continues. But it does feed into a belief, at least among Democrats and those that are not happy with the president. Our polling finds that's most Americans. Between that situation at the airports and the shutdown overall, and then this ongoing war with Iran, that the president, for the first time in a while at least, appears to not have total control of the situation. How do the Democrats respond to that this week? Do they just keep staring down the Republicans?
I mean, I think the through line through all the issues you just talked about was kind of what's the plan here? Obviously the thing that's different from yesterday to today at the airports is that ICE has obviously been deployed in some of these places, which kind of begs the question of, well, why? I mean, what I experienced yesterday wasn't chaos in these places. It was that there weren't enough people to actually help people get through security lines. Adding ICE doesn't solve anything to that situation. They've suggested that that's ideally the plan is to help bring down the lines, but these people don't have the technical training to do that. So I don't really know how that solves anything. And then when you look to the situation in the Middle East as well, I mean, we're hearing conflicting reports from the president and the government in Iran. You're hearing conflicting reports from the president and his own administration about what's actually being said and to whom. So I do not think that they are projecting a picture of confidence to the American people that they either have an on-ramp or an off-ramp.
And yet the Democrats are potentially watching all this and thinking, how does Chuck Schumer behave himself and lead his caucus? So they have some chaos too, right?
They certainly do. And it's interesting because even with the first shutdown, Schumer stumbled himself into it, and they didn't really have an off-ramp out of it. And basically, it was a much ado about nothing for 37, 40-something days, whatever that was. And Schumer was not stronger as a result. So right now, the demands on the sides of the Democrats are kind of falling flat. We're going to have to see what happens in terms of the TSA pressure mounting. But, Schumer, there's a lot of angst about his leadership right now in the House Democratic or Senate Democratic caucus, probably in House as well. But we're going to have to see where this goes.
Is it a debate worth having amongst Democrats?
I mean, Dems in disarray is a narrative that's always going to be thrown at us. It's who we are as a party. I will say it's pretty hard to kind of offload a leader in the middle of an election. And I will say that I think Schumer's greatest asset in this election so far is he has done a really good job recruiting Senate candidates. So, I mean, he needs to deliver a victory.
Well, we'll see about
exactly.
that.
He needs to deliver a victory come November if he wants to try and hold on or cement his legacy.
All righty. John McCarthy, glad you got back to Washington. Mark Bednar, good to see you as well. Thank you both for